Hi everybody, it's Mr. Gray here. Thank you again for another really great week. I have tremendously enjoyed the conferences that we've had already. There's just a handful left, but it's really great to get to talk to you and your students about the goals you have and kind of share your family values and your expectations. It's really a fun experience. Also, thank you very much if you came to our writing celebration. I filmed this on Thursday, and so we just had our writing celebration. It was awesome, not only to have all the parents that were able to come, just be able to come into our class and see some of the things we're working on, but to see the students get to interact with parents at school. And there's a lot of pride going both ways, which is a really fun thing to see. And I hope you all very much enjoyed getting to hear the stories of not only your kids, but also the other kids in the class. I do have a few announcements for next week. Number one, a couple weeks ago I talked about running the mile on Monday morning. We didn't get to that. It rained one day, then we had no school on Monday after that. So we're finally going to try to do that. We're not going to actually run a full mile. We're going to run for time. We're working our way up to the mile later this school year. Also on Monday, November 6th, is the Makeup Picture Day. So if you are making up pictures, you might have to kind of think about that. If I run in the morning, what am I going to dress? How am I going to dress for pictures? I need to bring a change of clothes. Just think about that, but that is Makeup Picture Day on Monday. And then finally on Friday next week, November 10th, there is no school due to the Veterans Day holiday. So that's what's happening, big things next week. Also, we are having our first book fair of the year, the week of November 13th through 17th, and Mrs. West Simon, our librarian, is looking for volunteers for when our class attends, which isn't until Friday the 17th, and we go from 9 to 10 in the morning. So if that is something you'd be interested in, I have a little link on the updates page where you can sign up. I think there's not very many slots, but if you're interested, that's a really nice thing. And you kind of contact Mrs. West Simon, and then she kind of gives you the rundown of what to do. But it's really helpful so kids can get in and out of the book fair and get the things they want. Next week in reading, we have kind of a short week. We're ending our interpretation unit all about theme, and we kind of finished up with this book, Tuck Everlasting. The kids are working on readers' notebook pages together in a group, and they're going to have a big gallery walk and turn that in, and that's all we have time for next week because it's short and there's a bunch of things happening. But then the next week, I'll tell you a little bit more about it, but we're going to work on our next unit, which is called Argument and Advocacy, and that is focused on reading nonfiction, text, articles, even videos, and distilling that information down and then having debates. For our writing unit, we're going to take a week to just enjoy the fact that we were able to finish narrative, that we had our celebration today. And so we're just going to take a short little break for creative writing. The kids are going to make a plan of what they're going to do for creative writing and turn in something. The grade will come from completing their plan, not from what they're actually doing, but then they get some freedom to write in any way they want next week. And then we'll move on to our next writing unit in the following week. In math next week, it's focused on CML the whole week, so we're going to work on persevering in our problem solving for a couple days to practice, and then actually take the first of 5 CML tests next week. As a reminder, what happens for those is they will get an actual grade that goes in the grade book. So they could get 1 correct out of 6. As you can imagine, that could really tank their grade. But that's not it's not going to end up like that, because all the kids will be able to do a reflection. What did they get wrong? And then do it correctly with my support. And so as long as they do that reflection and turn it in, everyone will get 100%. But it's just showing that they followed through on that one, either because they got all 6 out of 6 or they got a couple wrong and then were able to show me that. So if you see it as a 2 out of 6, don't worry. There's a chance for the kids to get a full 100% on CML. We're taking that test on Thursday and then doing the reflection the next Monday. In social studies next week, we are continuing thinking about the early European explorers who explored all around both North and South America. So the kids are going to be not only studying the tools that sailors of that time used and explorers used of that time, but also just the incredible distances and difficulty that their journeys had, in addition to some of the most famous explorers and what they're known for. Not only Christopher Columbus, but lots of other ones that we still have today. There's an explorer whose last name is Balboa, that is related to Balboa Island. There's an explorer, Amerigo Vespucci, and it's from his name that we got the name America from in North America and South America. So there's lots of connections even today to the real world from these explorers, but also it's an important part of understanding the history of the European exploration into the Americas. In science next week, the kids are going to see Mrs. DeMarco, and then finally in leadership next week, our goal is to begin with the end in mind, to plan ahead and set goals. And we're looking at a program from a Florida high school called SAFE, which is about support animals and how they were used. And really just this big idea of I have this goal and lots of things can get in my way, but I can take steps to avoid those and kind of complete my goal. So I'm planning ahead for what might go wrong, but I'm keeping my eye on all my goals. So that's what's happening. Again, thank you very much for meeting with conferences and coming to the writing celebration. It is a treat for the teachers to not only get to see the students every week, but get to see like the families and also the students and families together is a really fun experience. So thank you for joining in on all of that. I hope you guys all have a fantastic weekend and we'll have a great week next week. All right, bye-bye.